The cycle of abandonment. Are you trapped in this cycle? That's what we're talking about today. So hello everyone, my name is Autumn Asphodel and I am a coach dedicated to helping you live your best life and break free from these cycles you may be in. These upward and downward cycles that just keep repeating endlessly. Why is that? That's what we're talking about, so enjoy the video. Abandonment is a cycle where the person was abandoned as a child and continues to deal with people who abandoned them as an adult. This cycle is often not noticed by the person who was abandoned and will often blame themselves or others for what was done to them. Abandonment issues always start when someone is a child. They will often be neglected and abandoned by their parents and told they are unwanted, not liked, or even unloved. As the person ages, they will often take one or two different paths in life: abandon others or have others abandon them. The first option is to abandon others. This essentially means that the person will cut ties with friends before they get too close to harm them. This is a defense mechanism that prevents them from being hurt, since if they can abandon the other person first, then the perceived abandonment from the other person is non-existent. The other option is that the person instead keeps attracting people into their life that abandons them, essentially like a magnet. They subconsciously choose people that would be unavailable and leave them. Once they have been abandoned by someone they call a friend or a romantic partner, they immediately seek out a new relationship to prevent themselves from feeling the pain of abandonment. Either choice results in the cycle of abandonment where the person is left alone after interacting with people they called a friend. The person who subconsciously attracts people who abandons them often does so without realizing, while the person who pushes others away is aware of what they are doing but may not know the reason why. These issues stem from childhood. The person who attracts people who abandons them is because life is trying to educate the person on how to remedy the pain from childhood. But they are not paying attention or healing. Thus, they are doomed to make the same mistakes over and over again. Same goes for the person who pushes people away. They may attract people who genuinely care for them, but cannot see it due to a perceived threat. Life is not linear. When you look at your life, the timeline of your life, there is no clear start and end to this life. You go through cycles throughout this time. There are cycles within the whole world and the whole universe, the cycle of life. Everything is a cycle. There is no start and there is no end to it. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And it's the same thing with the cycle of abandonment or any sort of issues that you have faced within your life. And here's a perfect example of this. When you are abandoned, imagine a circle. You are abandoned in some sort of way. There are multiple paths you can take, but if you choose to abandon other people before they can hurt you, or you want to quickly try to get into another relationship or a friendship to compensate for that lack of abandonment, either one is not giving yourself the time to heal from the abandonment issues you faced as a child. So when you're viewing this cycle, you're right up here at the peak, okay? You're right up here at the peak where you face the abandonment. What do? You end up wanting to run away from the abandonment, to hide it, to block it out, not addressing it. So you go back down this circle here. And then you reach a place, that you may call a bottom, like a rock bottom or whatever it is that you may call it. And you're like, you feel really bad, you feel really low, and then you start to pick yourself up again. You start to, get up a little bit here. Maybe some more people are coming into your life. Maybe, things are starting to be a little good here. And then you reach that top again, that same exact top you reached before. What do? Have you learned from each cycle you have repeated, or are you doomed to, you messed up, you go down, you repeat the same mistake again? Is that you? Do you keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again? If so, it's because life is trying to teach you a lesson. Life is trying to teach you, there's something you need to learn here. Once you're able to learn, you can break out of this cycle. Since life is not linear, but rather cyclical, it's understandable that there is a cycle of abandonment. To put it simply, the person who attracts others who abandons them does so due to past childhood trauma. Since we know that childhood trauma and things from the past repeat themselves, then that is where a different outcome can be taken. The person has attracted someone who will abandon them because it's time to heal. They have to be abandoned by this person intentionally to heal. Why? Because that's how healing is done. By being abandoned, they can choose a different outcome to proceed into the next phase of recovery. They don't have to go back down the dark abandonment path, but can instead realize that they can learn and grow from those who abandoned them. If you've been abandoned, give yourself some time to reflect back and realize that it is not your fault. Comfort your past self and inner child and realize that you are an amazing person capable of so much. The reason why you attract people into your life that abandon you, or even push them away before they abandon you, is because life is trying to help you. It's teaching you a lesson to heal and grow from this experience to become stronger. Our biggest time for growth is by learning from the negative experiences. So learn from the past, or else you're doomed to make the same mistakes over and over again. Remember, the law of attraction can work in your favor by learning and growing to be the best version of yourself. Let me know how this works for you. Have a great day. So this cycle, as I've mentioned, of abuse, it can apply to pretty much anything. And when you look at the cycle of abuse and things that have happened to you and the fact that they keep coming into your life. A lot of people who have abandonment issues from the past, they will subconsciously attract people into their life that will abandon them. Why is that? It's because life is trying to teach them a lesson. Life is trying to teach them a good lesson at that. It may not seem good because it's like, why are all these people abandoning me? The reason they're abandoning you is because you have to learn a lesson that life is teaching you. So let's look at this circle again. Let's look at this cycle of abuse again. You're at the top here. You keep making the same mistake and you go down and you keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. What can you do differently? How can your response be different when you're abandoned? Basically, if you view a circle like this and you keep repeating it, when you get to the top, instead of going back down, what if instead you move over? You take a different path. You respond to the abandonment a different way. Now, when you move over there, again, life is not linear. It may look like a linear line here, but once you get over here, there's going to be another cycle that you're going to be dealing with. But it's going to be a completely different type of struggle. Maybe not 100% different, but it's going to be a different obstacle to overcome. So how do you get from this point here to move over instead of go back down here? The answer to that is your response to the abandonment. How are you responding to the abandonment? What are the ways you're responding? Are you responding by pushing people away? Are you responding by, quickly wanting to be with other people to avoid the hurt and the pain that you have? If so, then that's not the way of healing the abandonment. The way you heal the abandonment is that, don't like to say it, but you have to be abandoned in some sort of way. You have to be abandoned. You have to experience that trauma again and respond to it a different way. So, it's a very good example in my life, and take this as an example where you can apply to your life as well. I was abandoned a lot growing up. I did not really have too many friends. I did not want to make friends. I pushed people away before they could abandon me out of pain. Did not want to be close to them. Then I allowed someone into my life to be close to me. They abandoned me. I did not slip down further. Instead, I took a different path and go, this was meant to happen so I can learn to be the best version of myself. That's what you can do as well. Learn from the abandonment you have to not make the same mistakes and continue on a different direction. So thank you so very much for watching this video. Be sure to check out the amazing merchandise over at Asphodel Shop for some inspiring designs. And I'm really curious to know your experience with this. So please share your experiences. Have a great one, and I'll see you later.